यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Krishna Chandra, Radhe. Jai Krishna Balaram, Jai Krishna Balaram. Jai Nitai Gaurango, Jai Nitai Gaurango. Jayo Prahlāda Narsimha, Jayo Sudarshana. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Srila Prabhupada. जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा। श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री निताय गौरांग की जय। श्री श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव की जय। श्री श्री सुदर्शन भगवान की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first canto, 10th chapter, text number 26. अहो अलम श्लघ्यतमं यदोः कुलम्। अहो अलम श्लाघ्यतमं यदोकुलम्। अहो अलम पुण्यतमं मधोर्वनम्। अहो अलम पुण्यतमं मधोर्वनम्। यद् एषा पुंसां ऋषभः श्रियः पतिः। यदेष पुंसां ऋषभः श्रियः पतिः। स्वजन्मना चंक्रमणेन चांचति। स्वजन्मना चांक्रमणेन चांचति। अहो अलम श्लाघ्यतमं यदोकुलम्। अहो अलम पुण्यतमं मधोर्वनम्। यदेष पुंसां वृषभः श्रियपति। स्वजन्मना चंक्रमणेन चांचति। अहो अलम श्लाघ्यतमं यदोकुलम्। यदेष पुंसां वृषभः श्रियः पतिः। स्वजन्मना चक्रमणेन चांचति। अहो अलम श्लाघ्यतमं यदोकुलम्। अहो अलम पुण्यतमं मधोर्वनम्। यदेष पुंसां वृषभः श्रियः पति। स्वजन्मना चंक्रमणेन चांचति। Aho alam shlagyatamam yadokulam. Aho alam punyatamam madhurvanam. Shriyapati. Aho. Oh. Alam. Verily. Shlagyatamam. Supremely glorified. Yadoho. Of King Yadu. Kulam. Dynasty. Aho. Oh. Alam. Verily. Punyatamam. Supremely virtuous. Madhurvanam. The land of Mathura. Yat. Because. Eshaha. This. Punsam. Of all the living beings. Rishabhaha. Supreme leader. Shriyaha. Of the goddess of fortune. Patihi. Husband. Swajanmana. By his appearance. Chankramanena. By crawling. Cha anchati. Glories. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Oh, how supremely glorified is the dynasty of King Yadu, and how virtuous is the land of Mathura, where the supreme leader of all living beings, the husband of the goddess of fortune, has taken his birth and wandered in his childhood. Please repeat. Oh, how supremely glorified is the dynasty of King Yadu, and how virtuous is the land of Mathura, where the supreme leader of all living beings, the husband of the goddess of fortune, has taken his birth and wandered in his childhood. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna has expressively given a description of his transcendental appearance, disappearance, and activities. The Lord appears in a particular family or place by his inconceivable potency. He does not take his birth as a conditioned soul quits his body and accepts another body. His birth is like the appearance and disappearance of the sun. The sun arises on the eastern horizon, but that does not mean that the eastern horizon is the parent of the sun. The sun is existent in every part of the solar system, but he becomes visible at a scheduled time and so also becomes invisible at another scheduled time. Similarly, the Lord appears in this universe like the sun and again leaves our sight at another time. He exists at all times and at every place, but by His causeless mercy, when He appears before us, we take it for granted that He has taken His birth. Anyone who can understand this truth in terms of the statements of revealed scriptures certainly becomes liberated just after quitting the present body. Liberation is obtainable after many births and after great endeavor, in patience and perseverance, in knowledge and renunciation. But simply by knowing in truth about the Lord's transcendental births and activities, one can get liberation at once. That is the verdict of the Bhagavad Gita. But those who are in the darkness of ignorance conclude that the Lord's birth and activities in the material world are similar to those of the ordinary living being. Such imperfect conclusions cannot give anyone liberation. His birth, therefore, in the family of King Yadu as the son of King Vasudev, and his transfer into the family of Nand Maharaj in the land of Mathura are all transcendental arrangements made by the internal potency of the Lord. The fortunes of the Yadu dynasty and that of the inhabitants of the land of Mathura cannot be materially estimated. If simply by knowing the transcendental nature of the birth and activities of the Lord, one can get liberation easily, We can just imagine what is in store for those who actually enjoyed the company of the Lord in person, as a family member or as a neighbor. All those who were fortunate enough to associate with the Lord, the husband of the goddess of fortune, certainly obtained something more than what is known as liberation. Therefore, rightly, the dynasty and the Lord are both ever glorious by the grace of the Lord. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So the same verse is spoken by Kunti Maharani also. Ajasya karturatmanah tiriyan rishishu yadasu tadatyanta vidambanam. Lord Krishna appears in all the species of life. And he is Aja, he is unborn. So why does he take birth is a matter of speculation for many, many great personalities. That is why there is a religion. And in that religion, although people believe in God, but they don't believe in incarnation. Because they tell why God will incarnate. Who is God? He is a creator of many, many universes. So, in a small universe, which is like a mustard seed in a bag full of mustard seeds, in that universe, there are unlimited planets and so many unlimited living entities. Why that Supreme Personality who has created such unlimited universes, he has to incarnate here to an insignificant planet? They are not able to understand. So they tell because he's so great, he cannot incarnate. Similarly, other people who believe in incarnation, then they ask, why does he incarnate? What is the need to come to an insignificant place? Is it important for the Lord? What was the deal? What was the necessity for him to come? So this is very important question. One should ask. So people are reading management from Bhagavad Gita. Was that the necessity? People were not able to do proper management. GDP was not growing at pace. So Lord told, I have to teach them management. So I will stop the war and I will teach management lessons. Fight later, become good manager first. Otherwise, if you become king, you don't know how to manage. What is the use of my incarnation? So, was this the purpose? Krishna came here to teach management skills? Or is something else the purpose? So, this is being discussed by Kunti Maharani also, that people are citing various reasons for Krishna's incarnation. And one such reason is Yado Priyasyan Vavaye Malayasyeva Chandanam. One such reason is simply to glorify the dynasty of his devotee. The devotee has got no other business but to glorify the Supreme Lord. And Supreme Lord has got no other business but to glorify the devotee. Krishna tells, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham. As you surrender unto me, so do I reciprocate. Prabhupada tells, you offer whatever you have to Krishna. Krishna will tell, okay, whatever I have, I will also give to you. is Krishna's reciprocation. So whatever you have, you give to God, then whatever God has, God will give to you. He will reciprocate in the same spirit. So thus the devotee has got no other business but to glorify the Supreme Lord. And the Lord is also planning how to glorify my devotee. And thus he incarnates. Maharaj Yadu was his famous disciple. He was one of the four sons of Yayati. And he disobeyed the order of his father. Father is also considered first spiritual master. And father should never be disobeyed as per the Vedic culture. Strictly, father should be followed. But he disobeyed. Why? Because father was giving him old age. Father got a curse. Untimely he became old by Shukracharya. And because Yayati Maharaj was married to Shukracharya's daughter. And kings have many, many queens. So Shukracharya told, I am giving you my daughter on the promise that you don't enjoy with any other woman. But he enjoyed. And then he cursed, you become old. So then he begged forgiveness. So he told, one thing is possible. If one of your sons can exchange their youth, then they have to take your old age and then you can gain back your youthhood. So he requested Yadu Maharaj also. But Yadu, he denied. Why he denied? Because he was knowing, if I become old, how will I beget children? And how will Krishna come? There will be unnecessary delay in coming of Lord Krishna or impediment. So thus he disobeyed. So this is one reason why Lord Krishna comes here. Lord Krishna has got many, many reasons, but this is one of the reasons. So that is what the women are talking about. How supremely glorified is the dynasty of King Yadu, and how virtuous is the land of Mathura. Similarly, the land of Mathura is glorified because Lord Krishna has taken birth. But Lord Krishna does not take birth. That is what Prabhupada is explaining here. Just like the sun does not rise, sun does not take birth, but east direction is supposed to be giving birth to sun. That is what people thought, that the sun takes birth every morning. Now, of course, we advance in our understanding. We understood, oh, sun is not taking birth. But earlier people were thinking the sun takes birth and the sun sinks in the earth at some long distance away. So new sun is taking birth every day and the sun is sinking in the earth. This is what the perception was telling. Similarly, our perception may tell us that Lord Krishna is also taking birth like an ordinary living entity. And people who have such perception continue the process of birth and death. But Lord Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, those who are able to understand scientifically what is the position, just like the sun is not taking birth and the sun is not dying at every evening. Sun is there, always visible. But because of our limitations, we are not able to see the sun always. Similarly, Krishna is always visible and Krishna is always present. But because of our limitation, we are not able to see Krishna. So sometimes Krishna rises like the sun, and that is to be taken as birth in ordinary vocabulary of the ignorant people. But otherwise, people who are learned, they don't call birth. What do they call? Appearance and disappearance. So Krishna does not take birth and Krishna does not die. It is called appearance and disappearance. And one who is able to understand this, tatvataha, tatvata means in truth, means in conviction. One who understands, yes, this is fact. Krishna, the personality, he is always present. He is always present at every place, at all times. He was present, is present, and he will be present in future also. But I am not able to appreciate his presence. If simply we become thoroughly convinced of this fact, then what happens? Tyaktva deham punarjanma nayati mameti swarjuna. After leaving this body, we will also stop taking repeated births and deaths. So this is the real challenge of life, to overcome the repeated deaths, repeated births. This should be the prime objective of human form of life. And who can attain this? Prabhupada is explaining in the purport. Anyone who can understand this truth in terms of the statements of revealed scripture certainly becomes liberated just after quitting the present body. Liberation is obtainable after many births and after great endeavor, in patience and perseverance, in knowledge and renunciation. So, this liberation is possible after many births of patience and perseverance. Success is not easy. We will fail unlimited times. Unlimited times we will fail. It takes many, many births. So, that is why we need to have a lot of patience. Sometimes devotees become impatient. Prabhu, I'm chanting 16 rounds. Why nothing is happening? So one devotee was worried after joining ashram. So he spoke to Ananshesh Prabhu, Vice President of Jaipur Temple. So Prabhu told, very nice devotee, very wonderful devotee, that Prabhu, I don't feel I am advancing. So Prabhu told, क्या advance करना है? ब्रह्मा बनना है तो do you want some mystic power or something? What is the meaning of advancement? So yes, we are serving Krishna, we are surrendered, this is advancement. But yes, we need to feel tangible advancement, and for this we need to be very, very determined. Then we'll feel also tangible advancement. Prabhupada explains, you need not question. As we eat food, we get satisfaction. Similarly, by devotional service, we will get satisfaction. But for that, we need determination. Without being very determined, one cannot feel tangible advancement, even though one will make advancement. We are living in association of devotees, we are chanting 16 hours, we are advancing. But to feel tangible advancement, we need very strong determination. But anyway, it is not so easy. Maya will break our determination. Maya will make us lose our enthusiasm by dragging us into sense gratification. We will fail. The senses will pull us. The senses are pulling great stalwart yogis also. So it is not so easy. So that is why there would be failures. Thus it is told by Srila Rupa Goswami, Utsahat Nishchayat Dharyat Tat Tat Karm Pravartanat. Sometimes people give up. Oh, this is not for me, Krishna consciousness. I cannot do. Very difficult. So that is why patience is another very, very important element. Utsahat, enthusiasm should be there. Just like the materialist is enthusiastic, without that we cannot advance even in material life. Here also we should be very, very enthusiastic. Why we should be enthusiastic? It is so difficult. It takes many, many lives. If somebody tells you, yes, you'll be very, very rich after 4 million lives. 4 million lives you have to work hard. We'll lose all our nahi banna rich. I don't want to. Who will wait for 4 million lives? But no, we have a reason to be enthusiastic. What is the reason? So that is explained very nicely in second canto, 7th chapter, I think this is, where Lord Brahma is describing the scheduled incarnations to Narad Muni. So there Lord Brahma quotes this very nice verse. Te vai vidanti atitaranti cha deva mayam stri shudra huna shabara api papa jivaha yadyadbhuta krama parayana shila shikshas tiryak jana api kimu shruta dharanaye. Surrendered souls, even from groups leading sinful lives, such as women, the laborer class, the mountaineers, and the Siberians, or even the birds and beasts, can also know about the science of Godhead and become liberated from the clutches of the illusory energy by surrendering unto the pure devotees of the Lord and by following in their footsteps in devotional service. So, very powerful verse. So, attaining the Supreme Lord is meant for very, very advanced personalities who have got a virtuous birth. So there are various impediments in spiritual advancement. One impediment is our sinful activity. Because of sin, we get covered by ignorance. So that is why we should try to lead a very pious and pure life. And when we commit sinful activity, then what happens? We get papa yoni, sinful births. Which are the sinful births? Stri Shudra Huna Shabara Api Papa Jiva. The birth of a woman, the birth of a laborer, laborer class. Huna Shabara, Siberians, and those who lives in mountains, tribal people, not very intelligent. So all these are called Papa Yoni, sinful births. So in Kali Yuga, practically, there are only two classes, either Stri, women, or Shudra, laborer class. There is nothing else. So Kali Yuga, everyone is Shudra. So men should not be proud. Oh yes, see, I am Punya Yoni. Yes, I will advance. Women cannot. No. Men means those who are Brahmanas. Brahma Jana Titi Brahmana. That is finished now in Kali Yuga. Practically no Brahmanas because there is no Garbhadana Sanskar. As soon as there is no Garbhadana Sanskar, there is a purificatory process to bring the child here in this material world. The consciousness has to be purified. The time of conception has to be fixed. Then husband and wife, after purification, they conceive the child. Now the child is byproduct of lusty activity. So child is also lusty. Child picks up the consciousness of parents, father especially, at the time of conception. So this science is not known to people. That is why children are born lusty. And as soon as Garbhadana Sanskar is not there, this purificatory process is not there, entire family becomes Shudra. The child is also Shudra. And apart from this, apart from birth, we are so fortunate that we are born Shudra and we are trained to remain Shudra. By birth, anyway, everyone is Shudra. Shudra means those who are not trained and those who cry for insignificant things, who get disturbed very easily. Kali Yuga, everyone is disturbed. Right from the unemployed to most employed, who is employing everyone, he is also disturbed. Rather, unemployed might be less disturbed. Those who employ others are more disturbed. So everyone is disturbed. So one who is disturbed, he is called a Shudra. And one who is not disturbed, Shama, Dama, Tapa, Shaucha, mind is controlled, senses are controlled, maintains equanimity always, he is called a Brahmana. Brahma Jana Atiti Brahmana, mind is controlled. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, he is always prasanna, always happy. So one who gets disturbed very easily, he is called Shudra. Shudra means insignificant things. He himself is insignificant, not contributing anything worthy, and he gets disturbed for insignificant things. And that is technically translated as laborer class. Laborer class means those who work for salary. So work is done only by Shudras. So thus now everyone does work practically. So one could be working either physically, manual physical labor, or one could be typing code on computer. That is also Shudra work. Ultimately, one is doing job. Any kind of job you do with machines, with your hands. As soon as we become servant of anybody, taking salary, then we immediately become Shudra. By taking salary, one becomes immediately Shudra. Thus, Chanakya Pandit, even though he was he was in the position of minister of Chandragupta, he was never taking salary. So now ministers have so much of salary, unlimited perks and privileges. But earlier Vedic times, Brahmanas were the ministers, will not take any salary. Thus, they will give unbiased advice. And if king does not follow, they will remove the king. This is the proper system of governance. So now Kali Yuga, all of us are Papyoni. Either we are Shudra, we are doing jobs, working for others, taking salary, or women. So thus, both men and women in Kali Yuga are unqualified. And thus we are suffering also. We suffer only because of pap sins. There is so much suffering. There is physical trouble. There is mental harassment, anxiety. All this happens because of sinful actions, pap yoni. No physical, mental, any kind of pain can happen to us if we don't break laws of nature. So because we break laws of nature, means we have committed sins. We are given a birth which is sinful. And thus, in these births, it is very difficult to come to a platform of knowledge. So those who live in the polar regions, cold regions, in the mountains, women and working class, laborer class, they cannot understand Krishna at all. But it is told in this verse, they can understand Krishna also. How they can understand? Yadi Adbhuta Krama Parayana. Who is called Adbhuta Krama? Krama means activity and Krama means step. So Lord Krishna is called Urukrama or Adbhuta Krama. So what is the measure of our step? Maybe 2-3 feet we can cross. But what was Krishna's step? It crossed the boundary of the universe. This is called Adbhuta Krama, extraordinary step. Take a step forward. His step was beyond the universe. So this is called Adbhuta Krama. And it also means activity. Extraordinary activities Krishna performs here. So Adbhuta Krama Parayana, those who are Adbhuta Krama Parayana means those who are devotees of Krishna. Shil Shikshas. Shiksha means those who are trained, those who are educated by Adbhuta Krama Parayana, the devotees of Adbhuta Krama. They can also very easily, Devamayam Atitaranti, they can pass over the ocean of illusion very, very easily. Surrendered souls, even from the groups leading sinful lives, such as women, the laborer class, the mountaineers, and the Siberians, or even the birds and beasts, can also know about the science of Godhead. The birds and beasts can know about science of Godhead. Birds can understand the science, and the beasts can understand the science. The topmost science, science of Godhead. They can also know about the science of Godhead and become liberated from the clutches of illusory energy by surrendering unto the pure devotees of the Lord and by following in their footsteps in devotional service. So thus, they vai vidanti. Vai means certainly, vidanti. They are also able to know perfectly the science of Godhead. Who? The birds and beasts also. But one thing is required. And what is that thing? They should be surrendered souls. So thus Prabhupada writes, sometimes there are inquiries as to how one can surrender unto the Supreme Lord. Krishna told, you surrender unto me. People ask, right? What is the meaning of surrendering to Krishna? Okay, Arjuna could have surrendered. Now Krishna is gone. How do I surrender to Krishna? This is the conclusive understanding of Bhagavad Gita, Sarv Dharman Parityajya, topmost instruction. Surrender unto me completely. Give up all other engagements. How can I surrender? In the Bhagavad Gita 18.66, Lord asks Arjuna to surrender unto him, and therefore persons unwilling to do so question. Those who are willing, they will surrender, they will know. Those who are not willing, they ask. So how to do? They ask where is God and to whom they should surrender. The answer to such questions or inquiries is given herein very properly. The personality of Godhead may not be present before one's eyes, but if one is sincere in waiting, in wanting such guidance, then what happens? If one is sincere in wanting such guidance of Krishna, how to surrender, then what happens? The Lord will send a bona fide person who can guide one properly back home, back to Godhead. There is no need of material qualifications for making progress on the path of spiritual realization. So, if one is sincere in wanting such guidance, then what will happen? The Lord will send a bona fide person. So, this is extremely good news for us. So, going back to Godhead is not easy. But the price one can pay for it is one's intense desire to have it. Simply, if one desires, one can go back. But desire is not easy to attain. But if we desire, then it is told in 13th chapter, verse number 23. Upadrashtanu mantacha bharta bhokta maheshwaraha. Lord Krishna is Upadrishta. He is always observing what this living entity is thinking, and he's fulfilling all our desires. And Anumanta, he's sanctioning our desires. Okay, let be sanctioned. Try this also, try that also, try everything, whatever you want. And when the living entity desires sincerely the guidance to understand the absolute truth, then he sends a bona fide representative, bona fide person who can guide, spiritual master. Because he is Upadrashta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. He is the supreme controller. It is not possible that anything can happen in our life by chance, because Krishna is supreme controller and he is observing our desires. So everything that is happening in our life is only because of our desires. Nothing happens by chance. He is Maheshwara, supreme controller, and his only business is to fulfill our desires. Bharta Bhokta, he is the supreme maintainer. He is the supreme enjoyer. Paramatmeti Chapyukto, and he is called Paramatma. So in the 13th chapter, the description is given of Atma and Paramatma. There are two knowers of this body. One is called Atma. We are knowing what is happening in my body. There is another Atma who knows whatever is happening in all the bodies. Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. So Atma is different from Paramatma. Paramatma is conscious about all the bodies, sarva kshetreshu. So he is called Paramatma. Paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purusha paraha. We are Purusha, we are trying to enjoy this world, and he is also Purusha, but he is transcendental Purusha, supreme Purusha. So thus simply if we desire that I want to make topmost advancement, then we will make. So it is so nice. It is a good news. Whatever we want, any kind of spiritual advancement we want to make, any position we want to have, we can attain it. Krishna will send all guidance. Krishna will send bona fide spiritual master who will guide us. So what we need to do is simply desire. Yes, I need to become the most advanced sage, most learned in spiritual sciences, and Krishna will arrange. Simply by our desire. There is no need of material qualifications that I need to do something, then I will be able to make spiritual advancement. No, no need. In the material world, when one accepts some particular, no need. Thus it is told even birds and animals also can make advancement. Everyone, I could be very dull, very having all the bad habits, does not matter. Need not have any qualification. In the material world, when one accepts some particular type of service, he is required to possess some particular type of qualification also. Without this, one is unfit for such service. But in the devotional service of the Lord, the only qualification required is, what is required? Devotional service? Surrender, yes. Only qualification. Nothing else is required. And then Prabhupada explains, surrendering oneself is in one's own hand. If one likes, he can surrender immediately without delay, and that begins his spiritual life. One can surrender immediately without delay. Yes, today onwards I want to surrender. I want to surrender to Adbhuta Krama Parayana, pure devotee of Krishna. And then one's spiritual life begins. Without this, spiritual life does not start. Unless we surrender to a doctor, our treatment does not start. Similarly, unless we surrender to spiritual master, our spiritual life does not start, and surrender is in our hand. We may keep on hearing and never surrender, or we can surrender immediately. And that begins his spiritual life without delay. The bona fide representative of God is as good as God himself, or in other words, the loving representative of the Lord is more kind and more easy to approach. So one may ask, I will surrender to Krishna directly. Why should I surrender to any person or spiritual master? So the understanding is, yes, you can approach God directly, but you should be apapa vidham, like Krishna, freed from all sinful acts. Then you can approach God directly. But a spiritual master can be approached even by most sinful person. So for people like us who are extremely unqualified, having sinful births, there is no other alternative. So spiritual master can be approached very easily. A sinful soul cannot approach the Lord directly, but such a sinful man can very easily approach a pure devotee of the Lord. And if one agrees to put himself under the guidance of such a devotee of the Lord, he can also understand the science of God and can also become like the transcendental pure devotee of the Lord and thus get his liberation back to Godhead, back home for eternal happiness. So, self realization of the science of Godhead and relief from unnecessary, useless struggle for existence are not at all difficult for the willing candidate, but they are very difficult for persons who are not surrendered souls, but only simple, profitless speculators. So, thus, this surrender is required. If we don't surrender, we keep on speculating always, then there is always trouble. Our spiritual life does not start. And the surrender is not easy, not at all easy. We may take initiation also, and one can join ashram also, but when one may not be surrendered, then troubles will always remain in our life. And as soon as we surrender, there is no trouble, because where is question of trouble? Trouble is also Krishna's mercy. This is called surrender. Tatte nukampam susamikshamano. As we understand, when Prabhupada was doing business, then Prabhupada goes to Jhansi, and then there is burglary in his factory, and the servants, they steal away everything from the factory, and the son comes running to Jhansi, "Father, please come back, help us." So Prabhupada left his business with son and nephew. "You take care. I will preach. Now is the time." But the son requested, "Okay, I'll manage, but now everything is gone. They have stolen everything. So please help us." So Prabhupada told, "You stay here, help me in typing the manuscripts." It does not matter. So when Prabhupada got the news, he laughs. And Prabhupada quotes this verse. Harishye tad dhanam shana yasyaham anugranami. Prabhupada did not cry. So this is the action of a pure devotee. Pure devotee, externally, he is doing the same work, same business, same eagerness to have money. And some people tell that he was a very money-minded man, always talking about how to make money. Before Prabhupada started preaching or took sannyas, started the movement, people who were his associates, some of them will recognize, yes, he was with whom Prabhupada will discuss Krishna Katha. With some people, Prabhupada would talk just business. He was always talking how to make more money. And yes, but what was Prabhupada's intention? So that he can push the mission of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj by making money. And what is the proof? This is the proof. Because the mission was getting pushed forward, Prabhupada got a very nice place and got some supporters. Prabhupada did not care a fig about the lost business. Prabhupada smiled, laughed, and told, "Harishchetat dhanam shanaya." There's mercy of Krishna. This impediment was there, Krishna has taken away. And he told his son, "You also sit here, help me in typing." So this is a surrender devotee. So by this we can test whether my material affairs I am doing for Krishna's service or for my gratification in the name of Krishna service. If I get disturbed by the losses or I get elated on the profits, but if I am not disturbed, some losses, then it's okay. So long my preaching is going forward, my service is happening, then that is all right. So this is called surrender. But this surrender is not very easy. So one who is surrendered, he is always happy in profit or loss. Loss is also mercy of Krishna. So thus a devotee who is surrendered, Jeev Krishna Das, Ei Vishwas Karle to ar dukh nai. There is no misery as soon as there is surrender. Because the devotee understands it is Krishna's mercy. Krishna has given, Krishna has sent it. But we will get disturbed. So the disturbance in life is simply because of, Prabhupada writes here, so far the relief from unnecessary, useless struggle for existence are concerned, it is not difficult at all for the willing candidate. So the struggle if we are having in life, immediately we can get freedom if we are willing to come out of it simply by surrender. But this is very difficult. If one agrees to put himself under the guidance of such a devotee of the Lord, he also can understand the science of God. Nobody puts himself under the guidance properly. Nobody comes and takes guidance. Very, very difficult. The devotees, although they may be externally chanting, every day 16 rounds and doing some deity worship, but there is no surrender. Of course, that is surrender what they're doing, but this partial surrender. Surrender means complete surrender. For that matter, anybody who comes and sits in the class is surrendered because he has agreed, whatever you talk, I will hear. But what is required is full surrender, complete surrender. And this is not easy. We always maintain independence. Let me do some calculation, this thing, let me have some engagement. Nobody surrenders completely. And unless we do complete surrender, struggle will remain. Then we are surrendered to Maya. We are surrendered to our mental speculation, our calculation. Let me do this, let me not do this. What will happen, what will not happen? Prabhu, is there insurance policy in the ashram? If I, people, what if I become old? Do we keep sometimes some snacks and biscuits with us? What? So many questions. We tell Prabhu, please don't join, continue from outside. So many questions. So this is not surrender. So this surrender is required. And only when we are willing to surrender should we accept a spiritual master. It should not be for rubber stamping. Yes, I have a spiritual master, I have taken Diksha. No. Then what is the value? Prabhupada tells you study, find a person where you find you can surrender, and then you accept a spiritual master. Otherwise, it is no use. You are attending a class, but you do not want to surrender to professor. You are seeing a doctor, but not taking advice. What is the use? We are wasting time of doctor and ourselves also. He could have cured another patient. So then there is no need. Only when we are willing to surrender should we accept a spiritual master. So it is not formality that I want to. So we have to find a person where we can surrender. And then we have to. And then if we follow the simple process, this is in our hand. Yes, I want to surrender now. Then immediately our spiritual life begins. And the birds and beasts also can understand the science of God. This is the only qualification. Krishna reveals himself in proportion to one's surrender. So thus, Prabhupada's first disciple, Dr. Shastri, he recollects. He was Prabhupada's first disciple. When Prabhupada went to Jhansi, he met a nice young doctor. He was 25 years old and he was principal of Vedanta Sanskrit University of Jhansi and he was chief medical officer of Ayurvedic University of Jhansi. Very nice doctor, very outgoing person. He told Prabhupada, you please come here. Of course, they would call him by different name. That you come here and I will make you meet many, many people. And Prabhupada was staying in his place only. He had a double-storied apartment. He was having his dispensary clinic, ground floor, first floor he was living. And Prabhupada was living with him. And he was very respectful. And so he recollects. In his heart, always it was burning that the whole world was suffering in the materialistic view. It was burning that the whole world was suffering in the materialistic view. Everyone is busy in eat, drink, and be merry. So the whole day he was touring and preaching his mission that was prescribed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his Guru Maharaj. He was having iron will determination and self confidence about his mission. He was not doubtful at all. He was Dridhavrita, staunchly determined. Actually, he was always preaching Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, Kalau nastyev, nastyev, nastyev gatiranyatha. No other way except chanting Hare Krishna Nam. So, always discussing. Sometimes the whole night he was discussing with me, and sometimes I was fed up. I was requesting, quotes, please don't disturb me, please let me sleep, unquote. So Prabhupada was so enthusiastic. This pure devotees, he does not want to sleep. He can discuss entire night Krishna Katha. But he was having his limitations. He told sometimes he was discussing entire night and I was fed up. I told, please don't disturb. Let me sleep. But Prabhupada was on transcendental platform. He was willing to discuss entire night. And Prabhupada was very determined. He would follow the morning program even though there is nobody. He would get up 4 o'clock. He will, I think, translate again. Or he will go for a walk. And then 5 o'clock he'll take bath, come here, chant. And 7 o'clock he will give class. Class to whom? His only disciple. And he was not even disciple at that time. Prabhupada will speak and he will hear, but Prabhupada will give class every day. And in this way, Prabhupada was always discussing. And then he tells, and he, the old missionary worker, he was just like a young man. Although Prabhupada was 54, 55 at this time, but he told he was just like a young man. I was a young chap, and he was just like my friend, my elder brother. He was like my guide and teacher, because the preacher is a friend, philosopher, and guide. He was always trying to create a good atmosphere through Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and Bhagavad Gita. The whole Bhagavad Gita was his practical life. His mission was not a mission of preaching only, but of practical action. He was also trying to catch me for this mission, and I would try to slip away. I did not think that he would do any miracle for spiritual revolution of the world, although that is what he urged us. So this is the story of first disciple. So he was not surrendered. Although he was assisting Prabhupada, he would help, but not surrendered. So it is not easy. He took initiation, so we have to surrender. Then we will actually start our spiritual life actually begins. We should put ourselves under the guidance. Prabhupada explains here also in material world, if you have to become expert in any field, you have to get a PhD. Then you have to take guidance from, Prabhupada tells 3 PhD holders. 3 people sign the thesis or 4? 4 now, no? I think in those times it was 3. Or in some colleges somewhere it might be 3. So 3 people at least should sign your thesis approved. Then a person becomes approved scholar. So one has to put himself under guidance of another expert, another PhD. Then you get a PhD. Otherwise, not possible. You have to follow his guidance, his direction. Similarly, we have to put ourselves under guidance completely, 100%. And we should be willing to do that. Take every decision, everything of our life. And how much surrender is there? Small children are taught in Vedic culture. How much surrender? Gurukule vasandanto guror hitam. One is living in Gurukul, and even for one's eating, one cannot ask, can I eat? Spiritual master will call, come son, and have prasadam. And a spiritual master forgets, he cannot eat also. Spiritual master has to ask, has to tell the disciple, come and eat. So much dependence has to be there. What about other things in life? Even for eating, one has to depend. Spiritual master will tell. So this much faith and dependence should be there on the spiritual master. That Prabhupada has set up this institution, wonderful institution, we should surrender ourselves and take guidance and carry out each and every activity under proper guidance. That is called surrender. And if you do that, does not matter. All our disqualifications are put apart immediately. And one could be as unqualified as bird or beast one can make. So that is why we should be very, very enthusiastic. That yes, I want to attain topmost perfection of spiritual life because fortunately I have the association of Adbhuta Krama Parayana of a pure devotee of Krishna. It is possible for me. Something which takes millions of lifetimes of patience and perseverance in knowledge and renunciation, I can do that immediately in one life simply by my desire. So I should be enthusiastic. Something which was obtainable after many, many times, I can do it immediately if I surrender. So I should be enthusiastic. I want to attain this spiritual position which I read in the scriptures. I want to attain this. And let me do whatever it takes to attain that position. That is the first qualification, enthusiasm. But then there would be failures, many, many failures. And we have to be patient and persevere. That is our utsahat, nishchayat and dhairyat. One must have patience. One has to persevere. Persevere means trying over and over again, even after failure. One should again collect oneself and one should try again. So Krishna will test us, and one who can persevere with patience, with enthusiasm, with determination, using failure as a stepping stone for success, then success is assured. One should stick on to the path, to the process. So thus we are very, very fortunate. Our life is very easy. Krishna is there in the heart, Upadrishtanu Mantasha, he is always noticing, and he is just waiting when he will have intense desire. But yes, it is understood that the intense desire is also not easy, that I want to become a pure devotee. So that is why Prabhupada, again, for that, we have to take guidance of pure devotee to get that desire also. Abhyas yogena tato ma michhatum dhananjaya. Abhyas, we have to practice yoga, bhakti yoga, under the guidance of spiritual master. Then what we will get? Prabhupada tells you simply, strictly follow these rules, regulations which I have given you. Getting up early in the morning, taking bath, cleansing, cleaning everything very nicely, inside, outside, preach and discuss, follow four regulative principles. Then intense desire to have Krishna, eagerness to have Krishna will come out. And when we have it, that is a price for purchasing Krishna consciousness. That is why we should follow rules and regulations very, very strictly of Srila Prabhupada. Then we'll have this desire. And then does not matter what is our disqualification. Immediately by taking shelter, we become perfect. We'll finish here. Any questions? Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna. Thank you for such a nice lecture. So sometimes it happens that a person surrenders, but he's gets so much failure in life after even surrendering that he thinks that I was better outside. Even I'm talking about person who joins. So at that moment, sometimes it so happen that even if you want to make him understand that you are committing some mistake, he's not able to understand, maybe because of any other thing. So what is the best solution for this kind of devotee?
Solution is we can give association. That is all we can do. As entire life is association. So whatever we do in our life, the thoughts that we have, it is because of associating with thoughts of others. So that is why it is our duty to transfer our conviction to others. So we can give association and make them convinced. Prahlāda Mahārāja tells a very nice verse that going back to God, it is not so easy. But going to hell is very difficult. You have to do sense gratification, life after life after life, after frustration after frustration after. You have to continue on that path, then you go to hell. So going hell is not easy. So thus outside there is unlimited failure, there is definite failure. If you don't attain the success of your life, you are anyway a failure. You attain success of your life, then also you are failure. You will not be happy. Or death will come and will take away whatever you have attained. Your loving children will go away. Your husband will go away. Wife will go away. Property will go away. Memory intelligence will go away. Beauty will go away. Everything will go away. So there is definite failure. And here there is definite success. But yes, we have to be patient with those. We have to tolerate. Prabhupada, there would be pain. And we have to tolerate. Tolerating that pain, we strive forward, then we make advancement. So there's the stage we have to go through. Some people are not able to go through, and thus they are not able to stick to it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So in practical, like as a soul, we are surrendered to Krishna and the Supreme Soul. And if we are willing to try, if suppose myself in my condition, I am like I want to surrender completely, but the practical situation is we do have to take care of our family, and because parents are there and society is there, and it's completely visible that if I'm not going to stand for them, it's going to be too much trouble for them. So in that, and this is the one dimension, like many other parts are there where we have to be physically present. So in that dilemma, how should I take the decision that okay, I should surrender myself or live a holistic life? Nowadays it is called a holistic life, where we are spiritually doing everything, bit of everything, and like exactly doing nothing. So how should we do?
So we can surrender by sticking to our partial surrender. Prabhupada explained, surrendering completely may not be possible immediately. Unless Krishna reveals himself, we cannot surrender. Why shall we surrender, right? Unless we get thorough conviction. So that is why we have to please spiritual master and Krishna so that they reveal themselves. Then only we will be able to. And when they will reveal, when they are very pleased. When they will be pleased, when we follow their instructions very nicely. So complete instructions we may not be able to follow, so we can decide for ourselves. At this point of time, I can surrender this much. So that we have to follow with all sincerity. That is why Prabhupada says, you decide regulative principles for you and follow that without any failure. With that, we should be very, very strict. I have decided to do this much. I have decided to chant at least 4 rounds. Now, less than 4, I should not do. 1 round less than that, I should not do. Without any failure, I will do that for sure. Then we'll make advancement. Then gradually, progressively, Krishna will reveal himself. And we'll keep on advancing. Now, as far as the second part of the question is, sometimes this doubt is there in the mind that who will take care of parents? Indians ask this, Westerners, they don't ask. So in India, yes. So we have got this good quality that we will obliged for the parents. So that is why we should be intelligent also, how to settle the obligation. So we have to take care of the parents. For this reason, we should surrender. Because outside, what help we can do to the parents? Everyone is reaping the results of their own karma. So we are not doing anything. That is why we should read Bhagavad Gita. Krishna tells, Prakrite kriyamanani gunay karmani sarvashah. Everything is being done by Prakriti, nature. 3 modes of nature. But ahankar vimudhatma, those who are vishesh mudha, they think karta aham, I am the doer, iti manyate, I am doing something. So I am not doing anything. Correct? If somebody breaks the laws of nature, can anybody save him from repercussions? No. How much ever we try, we will not be able to save. And if anybody has done good deeds, can anybody save him from getting the good results? Nobody can save him. Comforts will also come. Krishna will arrange. So everyone is getting the results of their own karma. We are simply instruments. So we are like pen. Who is concerned? Who will write the essay if I don't work? Shakespeare, how he'll become famous if I don't work? Pen is taking tension. What will be Shakespeare's future if I don't work? Shakespeare is not dependent on pen. So thus nobody is dependent in this world on anybody. Everyone is reaping the results of their own karma. So what we can do is, if we become pen of Krishna's hands, if we become instrument of Krishna, that would be real service to family, because parents will get spiritual perfection without following anything. Simply if the son or daughter, they become surrendered soul to Krishna, parents automatically go back to Godhead and live with Krishna. This is called real service. Even if we don't understand karma, we render service to the parents. They will die. Again, they will take birth. Now, how shall we take care in next life? We'll forget, correct? As we are forgetful of so many parents we have had in previous lives. That is what Chitraketu heard from his son. His son died. Then he cried. He told the sage, you please bring back my son. The sage was brought back. And then he told, oh, my son, you are back. We are crying. We are your parents. Why did you leave us? He told, which parents you are? Parents of which life you are? I was bird, beast, animal, vegetable. Which parents you are talking of? I am a soul. I am a traveler. Who is parent here? So this world is a drama. Nobody's parent, nobody's son, nobody's daughter. These are various roles we are playing. Dresses, correct? This dress. So if I think that I am this dress, then that is illusion. So thus we are not rendering any service to anybody. We are present or we are absent, it does not matter. Physical presence or absence does not matter. So that is why by surrendering to Krishna, we can change their destiny. Then even though it was destined, they were destined to suffer for millions of births and deaths, if we surrender to Krishna, their destiny will change. Even in this life, the parents have more prosperity than what the son otherwise would have supported, it is told. And they get special protection even though they may be atheists. Like Hiranyakashipu was atheist number 1, but he became liberated by virtue of being father of Prahlāda Mahārāja. And in Bhagavatam, he is addressed as Shri Hiranyakashipu. Shri Hiranyakashipu Uvacha. So Prabhupada, so Prabhupada writes, why Shri Hiranyakashipu is written? He is a demon. No, Shri Hiranyakashipu is written because he got liberated because of being father of Prahlāda Mahārāja. So he is being given respectful address, Shri Hiranyakashipu. So thus we can give real service by surrendering. The parents are getting freedom from death. Oh, this is real service. But this realization is not easy. This conviction will come when we follow with determination whatever we can follow. That level we should not. That is why we have this Ashraya ceremony. Shraddhavan, Sadhak, Sevak, Upasak. You take limited commitment. I can follow 2 regulative principles only now. I can do this much. That we follow without fail. Then Prabhupada will give strength. Krishna will give strength for next. Do we have any? Online, do we have?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat.
The devotees who are reigning from folk residencies can carry on. I'll take few more questions.
Prabhu, how to judge myself, like in correct way, how to introspect whether I'm advancing day by day or gradually, or whether I'm surrendering gradually, without being going to any extreme, being so puffed up or being so morose. By means, if I'm liking something, so I may, this is not for me, this Krishna consciousness is not for me, or whether if I'm saying that I'm advancing, or so there is also one extreme. So what is the correct way to?
That is why we take guidance of devotees. Few things are very, very clear. If I want to eat something not offered to Krishna, then that is definitely wrong. But in the name of Krishna consciousness, yes, we have to judge whether I am doing for my personal interest or for Krishna's interest. So that is why when we do anything strictly under guidance of devotees, then we are doing for Krishna's interest.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, the souls who are not sinful, can they approach or connect with the God directly? Is this understanding correct?
Yes, anybody who is not sinful, they can approach Krishna directly. They have direct access, and that is what is called a pure devotee. So pure devotee, of course, das dasanu dasa, that is the understanding of pure devotee, that even though they have direct contact with the Supreme Lord, they still like to serve under the guidance of devotee, because a devotee never thinks I am purified enough, I will serve Krishna directly. This is a qualification of a pure devotee. Even though they are having direct contact with the Lord, even then they agree to become servant of servant of servant.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, you mentioned that those who are working for salary under a company immediately becomes a Shudra. But without job, surviving our life is difficult. In this case, what do we do?
Yes, this is a wonderful training that we have got. There is illusion that without job, survival is difficult. With job, survival is difficult. We are without job. Look at us, are we in difficulty? We are jobless. Our entire community is jobless. And the more jobless people increase in our community, we become more blissful. So joblessness is blissful. This practically you can see. And those who are in job, you see their life. And even though you cannot surrender to Krishna completely, there is no need of job. Nobody was doing job in Vedic culture. That's why Britishers had to create artificial famine. These Indians, they don't do job at all. They are taught Uttam Kheti Madhyam Ban Adham Chakri Bhik Saman. Doing service of others is like begging. It is being beggar. So in this country, nobody does job. Only those people who do not go to school, they do jobs. So that is why they change our education system. Anybody who would go to Indian schools, Vedic education, Gurukul, he will never take up a job. Because ya vidya sa vimuktaye. Education, knowledge is meant for liberation. If you are following somebody's dictates for 10 hours every day, for your entire life, you are finished. Where is your freedom? So vidya, knowledge means it should set you free. So thus Brahmana anyway will not do a job. Brahmana is trained how to live happily in a cottage under a tree. Not trained so much. One is trained as a Kshatriya, how to do administration, collect taxes, no need of job, give protection to people. Not doing that, you can do farming. It is so easy. 1 acre of land, 1 cow, sufficient. We can have everything, whatever we want, for which we are earning money. And by earning money, we are not able to have those things. What is the result of earning money? People are not able to have good food. All food mixed with chemicals. And even though you may get chemical-free food, no hunger to digest, cannot eat. Even though you can digest, nobody to cook food nicely. From refrigerator you have to pick out to cook something. So much difficulty. You cannot have nice food. There is no pure water. All water is contaminated. No pure air. All air is contaminated. In India, there is no single city which matches the minimum standards of having air purity. No single city in the country. Even the most undeveloped city of India is not having pure enough air, which can be called breathable. Water we have destroyed, air we have destroyed, food we have destroyed. So where is enjoyment? Health is destroyed. Everyone is having lower back pain, middle back pain, upper back pain, head pain, leg pain. Everything is paining. So in 1 acre of land, you get sufficient, everything. That is the way Krishna has told. This system I have designed. Need not run uselessly on the road for no reason or on treadmill. You work in the field, exercise is done, you have a nice sleep, you have good hunger, eat very nicely. You will enjoy relish, taste will come in food when you are hungry. And when you are tired working in the field, you will get very good sleep, you will sleep very nicely. You will be able to see your children every day, talk to them. Child is not studying in some other country, other place. Husband is weekend husband. So I was, in our college, we are inspired to take up good jobs. And consulting job is considered to be good job. So we sat for a presentation. And this good firm has come, one of the top 4 consulting firms. And this director had come, he gave a nice presentation. And we were all sitting, practically entire batch. Everyone wants to go into consulting. It was the best company to start your career. And gave nice presentation. And what was his presentation? See, I worked so hard. My parents were crying to see the face of their grandson. For 10 years, I did not have any time for my child. But now every morning, half an hour, nobody can steal my time with my son. Every day, half an hour I can give to my son. My wife was calling me, you are a weekend husband. Only weekends I am able to meet you. You are traveling. As soon as I saw presentation, I cannot appear for this company. I don't want this future. Who will work? So where is happiness in job? So this called rotten education system. We are being put into trouble. So not doing job is bliss actually. If we are a surrendered full-time missionary, life is blissful. If you cannot do that, do farming. That is what is recommended as a general occupation. Grow whatever you want directly. Grow your cloth, grow your food. And so much time you will have. Whatever food you want, in 3 months you can grow when it rains. 9 months, what you will do? Discuss Krishna Katha, chant, dance nicely. So this is called life. And this is what we have to revive. Prabhupada told, we have to show. People have no idea that this is life. This is how we can live. Where is the difficulty? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
And another thing, yes, practically it may not be possible immediately. So immediately what we can do it, wherever we are working, we can offer the result of that activity to Krishna and follow the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness. In our same job, we can become immediately blissful. Then it will not matter we are working in factory or some education institution or in some hotel or any place. Wherever we are working, if we follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, surrender to Prabhupada and offer the results of our income, then we see immediately we are blissful. This is the power of Krishna consciousness. So please try to implement this.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, in Srimad Bhagavatam, all incarnations of God are mentioned. So a particular God man who is considered
All incarnations of God are mentioned.
are mentioned. If yes, then a particular God man who is considered as an incarnation in Rajasthan, is he also mentioned? And similarly, there is another organization in Gujarat which worships their spiritual master as God, supreme God. Is that also mentioned?
So not one organization, practically every organization, every other organization worship their spiritual master as God. Why? Because most of the people, they follow impersonalism. So spiritual master is also God, I am also God. But spiritual master knows he is God, I do not know that I am God. So when you know that you are also God, you give up your spiritual master. So this is the understanding. So this is called impersonalism. So that is why following the genuine philosophy is rare. 4 bona fide sampradayas follow it. But in Kali Yuga, because people want to be cheated, so there are cheaters also in the market. Most of the products, they are cheating products. So that is why, as you have rightly told, incarnation, if it is not mentioned in the authorized bona fide literatures, they are mentioned in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and some of them are mentioned in other scriptures also. Then we cannot take them as incarnation. And another thing is, if one is incarnation, one should repeat the same instruction what Krishna has told. At least Krishna, we understand, is incarnation, whole world accepts, all the organization accepts. So the spiritual master who is claiming to be incarnation, he should repeat the same instructions what Krishna has told. Krishna has told very clearly throughout Bhagavad Gita, especially 7 chapters, verse number 20 through 23. Tad bhavati alpamedasam. Those who are having less intelligence, prapadyante anya devata, kama istaisa hritajnana, who have lost their intelligence, who are having less intelligent, they surrender, they worship other demigods, other devatas. So if spiritual master is telling worship any devata, then he is giving instruction which is not in accordance with instructions of Lord Krishna. So how he can be Krishna? Krishna tells, whatever knowledge I spoke to Sun God millions of years ago, same knowledge I am repeating. Krishna is giving perfect knowledge. So in perfect knowledge, there is no change. So if the instruction is different, means that person is not an incarnation. He is cheating.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you mentioned that even the birds and the beast can understand the science of the Lord and
Yes.
attain liberation. How
Yes.
is it possible?
How is it possible? Please read Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made animals also dance. The tigers and deers, they started embracing each other, embracing, kissing each other, chanting Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. And you go to that spot is also there. In the forest, the imprints of the hooves are there, because when you are in ecstasy of pure devotional service, the stones also melt by the touch. So the animals also attain such stage of ecstasy immediately, and the stones got melted by their impressions of hoof prints, and though that place is still there. And many people witnessed the famous dog who accompanied Shivanand Sen. He got liberated. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was feeding him coconut pulp, and then he got liberated. And the trees also, they vanished immediately by the embrace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like this, the elephant, he was trained, initiated by Rasikanand Prabhu. He was a wild elephant going to attack. So like this, pure devotees of Krishna and the Supreme Personality, they have given liberation and knowledge to animals also.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, anything is happening in our life, if at all it is because of our desire, then would it be the desire of our past life as well? For example, I am practicing Krishna consciousness and it was not my desire of this present life.
So desires of this life or previous life, and the result of that desire. Prabhu, I did not desire to suffer with some disease, let's say malaria. Then why I'm suffering? No, we desire to do certain kind of activity, and the result of that activity is malaria. So either of this life or a previous life. So we'll finish. We'll discuss more in the next class. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की